You ever see this happen? Someone who is just dripping with natural talent. I mean, they're amazing at what they do, but they just fizzle out. And then you see someone else, maybe they're just average skill-wise, but they end up absolutely crushing it. It's this paradox that's kind of maddening, right? Well, what if I told you the secret has nothing to do with what you're born with and everything to do with how you choose to show up?
Right? Let's get right into it. This question. This is the whole ball game. Is success really about having the fanciest resume, the best training, or just some gift you're born with? Or is it about something else, something deeper, something that, honestly, any of us can decide to have?
And to really get to the bottom of it, there's no better way than with a story. It's a really simple but powerful one about two apprentices. They're thrown into the high-pressure world of a top-tier kitchen. One of them had like every advantage you could imagine. The other, pretty much nothing. But you might be surprised who really came out on top.
Okay, so picture this. The Grand Maison, this legendary French restaurant. It's run by a head chef, Chef Laurent, who is, let's just say, notoriously difficult, a total perfectionist. But he had this incredible eye for real potential. And one morning, two brand new hires walked through his kitchen doors, ready to start. And right away, the difference between these two guys is just night and day. First, you've got Alex Chen. He's the golden boy. Top of his class at a famous culinary school. Skills are flawless, and he walks with this confidence that's, well, it's right on the edge of arrogance. And then there's David Martinez. Younger, totally self-taught. We're talking watching YouTube videos while washing dishes at a diner, and he is just a bundle of nerves. I mean, on paper, this isn't even a competition.
But how they actually worked, that told a totally different story. This is where the real gap starts to show. Alex would show up, do exactly what was on his list, no more, no less, and just coast on his natural talent. David, on the other hand, he was there 30 minutes early, he'd stay late, he was always asking, hey, you need a hand with that? He was just a sponge, asking questions, trying to learn everything he could. His actions were screaming way louder than any piece of paper.
So about 6 weeks go by, and then Chef Lauren just drops a bomb on the kitchen. He's opening a second restaurant, and he needs a sous chef to help run it. He announces a month-long competition to find the right person, and his two candidates are Alex and David. You could have heard a pin drop. Alex's reaction tells you everything you need to know. He was almost annoyed. He just couldn't believe it. In his mind, his resume, his talent, that should have been enough. The job was his by right. This whole competition thing, just a waste of his time. David's reaction? The complete opposite. He was terrified. You could just see the self-doubt. But here's the thing. Instead of letting that fear shut him down, he made a choice. He said to himself, okay, I might not be the most gifted guy in this room, but I can control how hard I work. And that, right there, was the moment his attitude became a secret weapon. So the competition is on, and it doesn't take long for the ultimate test to arrive. It's the busiest Saturday night of the month. The dining room is completely slammed, and there's a rumor that a major food critic is sitting at table 7. The pressure is just cranked up to 11. And then it happens. Disaster. The main oven, the absolute heart of the entire kitchen, sputters and dies, right in the middle of service. This is literally a chef's worst nightmare. And in a moment like that, your resume doesn't matter, your fancy training doesn't matter. All that matters is what you do right now. And faced with total chaos, all of Alex's perfect, by-the-book training just froze. His first instinct was to find blame. This isn't supposed to happen. It's not my problem. He saw the obstacle, but he couldn't see a way around it. His talent was useless because the conditions weren't perfect anymore.
But David, who'd spent years improvising in a diner with half-broken equipment, he saw a puzzle to be solved. Yeah, his hands were shaking, but his voice was clear. He immediately starts firing off ideas, how to adapt, how to pivot, how to salvage the service and get food on the plates. And for the next 3 hours, the difference was just stunning. David basically became the leader of the kitchen. He was everywhere, tweaking recipes, jumping in to help every single station, and keeping everyone's morale from hitting the floor. And Alex? He did his job, but he was complaining under his breath the entire time. One of them was solving problems, the other was just pointing them out. So they somehow survived the night, almost entirely because of David. The next morning, Chef Laurent calls both of them into his office. And what happened next would become the single most important lesson of their lives. Chef Laurent didn't say anything at first. He just placed 2 chef's knives on the counter between them. One was this gorgeous, gleaming, perfectly balanced $800 knife, a true work of art. The other one was a beat-up $20 knife. The handle was wrapped in electrical tape, and the blade was all worn down from years and years of hard use.
The chef picked up the beautiful knife, looked right at Alex and said, "You are this $800 knife." He said, "It's perfect on the outside, flawless technique, an impressive history. But if a knife is too precious to use, if it just sits in a drawer because you're afraid to get it dirty, then it's worthless. It's talent that just waits around to be noticed instead of earning its keep." Then he picked up the old, beaten-up knife and turned to David. "And you," he said, "are this $20 knife." He continued, "It's not pretty, it's got flaws, but it shows up every single day, ready to do the work. It's the tool you grab when things get tough, because you trust it. You know it won't let you down. It's all about humility, hard work, and just being reliable."
And then Chef Laurent delivered the line that ties this whole thing together. He looked at both of them and said, "Talent is your starting point. It's just a gift. But it's your attitude, how you handle the pressure, how you treat your team, how you show up, that determines how far you actually go."
Wow, I mean, that conversation was a real fork in the road, you know? Both Alex and David had to take a hard look in the mirror and decide what kind of professional, what kind of person they were going to be from that day on.
So for their final challenge, Alex made a dish that was technically perfect, but it felt cold, like it had no soul. David made something much simpler, but you could taste the passion, the story in every bite. In the end, of course, David got the promotion. But what's really important is that Alex finally got it. He started to change, realizing that his character was just as vital as his skill.
So what's the big takeaway here for all of us? It's actually incredibly simple, but so profound. Your talent, that might get your foot in the door. It gets you the interview. But it's your attitude, your work ethic, your character, that's what earns you real respect. That's what keeps you in the room and lets you build a career.
You know, this whole story really boils down to 3 simple truths. First, you can always learn a new skill. That's the easy part. But your attitude, that's a conscious choice you have to make every single morning. Second, a person with average ability who gives relentless effort will, over time, absolutely destroy a person with exceptional ability who just coasts every single time. And third, success isn't some big flashy moment. It's just the quiet result of being humble, committed, and showing up day after day after day.
Just let that one sink in for a second. Think of your natural gifts, your skills, whatever they are, as nothing more than your assigned spot at the starting line of a race. That's it. It just tells you where you begin. But it's your attitude, your grit, your humility, your willingness to learn that actually determines whether or not you even finish the race, let alone win it.
So really, the final question has nothing to do with how much talent you have. The question is for you, right now. It's about a choice. Are you going to be the beautiful knife that stays in the drawer, too precious to use? Or are you going to be the trusted one that, yeah, it might get a few dings and scratches, but it always gets the job done? When it comes right down to it, how you choose to show up is the only thing that really matters.